We are on the 13th of July 2025 and we're to the left hand side of Hastings Pier. The tide is literally about to flood in. My rods are still being set up, so yes, I am actually a little bit late, but I'm here and I'm just going to get on to put some rigs on, put some bait on that I've dug yesterday, and then move on to talking to you about what I'm going for and what I'm doing. But the baits that I've got today are a little bit of squid, mackerel and fresh lug from yesterday morning. I don't know if that counts as fresh still, but it's still very, very fresh and ready to go. I'm going to put that on the Century Tip Tornado Super Match Graphics because I actually got a different reel on there today. I actually accidentally picked this one up. This reel is a 7HT Turbo and it's rather quick, so I'm going to not hold back on casting that one. And the other rod's more manageable as far as the speed is concerned, so we can chill out a little bit more with that. Let's get this out and then we'll talk about a bit about what it is that we're doing with this, what we're aiming for, what baits we're going to put on there. So the Portsmouth, as you can see what I've written on there, Portsmouth 2.0 short, Portsmouth 2.0, 2.0, 13 snug length and a 12. So yeah, they're quite short. Today I've got this kind of trial and error bait holder on there. You can actually buy these bait holders, but this is one that I just made myself just to see how it goes. I like to make my own stuff if I can, just to keep the cost down a little bit. We are on to the Nordic bends, and again, like I said, I'm going to be trying this out, see if that actually holds the bait up or not, or it's too big or something. Right, let's see how we go. The bait that I got is kind of a mixed bag, to be quite honest with you. They're okay, but they're not amazing. They're, you know, this is the kind of baits we're dealing with here. See there, it's the kind of baits we're dealing with. I'm going to chuck a couple of worms on this. It's cooled down quite a bit now. It's like it's going to be 8:30 by now. The actual accurate time will be on the screen, but it's cooled down enough for me to not worry about having the lug out. As in daytime hot heats, it'd be a bit different story. This is a bit bigger one, this one. I'm going to try this one. And see if this bait holder can actually hold it up without me having to use two hooks. So let's have a look, shall we? So it looks as though it's in there. It looks like it might actually work. That's good. Right. Let's get this Portsmouth rig, which is what we're dealing with to start with. We'll get this Portsmouth rig out. And then we'll work on the other rod. And then we can relax a little bit. Let's put this one out. I have no mag settings on this thing. I did tighten it up at one point because I was casting with it and I didn't want it to go too far, but now I do want to go a little bit further. So let's see how we go with this. See how it's flooding over there? This would be a good time to get it out. I want to aim just past where you can see the structure there of the pier. That's my target. Here will be absolutely fine. And I got that spot on where it needs to go. Absolutely spot on where it needs to go. That's around about 40 yards away from the structure, just past the end. So I'm very happy with the placement of that and that cast. Very happy. As you can see, this reel was absolutely packed out, and look at it now. Next rig, I'll go for another 5 ounce, and for the next one I'm going to go for not a running ledger but a pulley. So this pulley, 6.0, it's on a panel 6.0 with a 3.0 circle hook at the top, a pulley panel rig, and we're going to put some mackerel on that. You can't really get much more simpler than a pulley panel. It's such a simple rig to use. And then we're going to get the bait elastic out, and we'll have a bit of squid on there. No, I mean mackerel. That's what we're after. It doesn't have to be a huge amount either. I think that would do plenty for us. We're going to thread it through like a needle and thread, and because it's frozen, it's much easier to bait up with. I want to slide this 3.0 hook up so I've got a bit more room. That's it. I just want to get around about a bit more around that circle hook end. Okay. There we go. As I said, I'm late down here. I've had a long day of driving here and there and everywhere, and I was tired enough to think I might skip it tonight, even though I've been kind of planning for this for a while. I've turned up too many times about my rag. So this pulley panel with mackerel, 6.0 hook and a circle hook 3.0 at the top is ready to go out, and I'm quite hopeful. Don't need to put that too far out, hence why I put the 7HT mag on that rod, because I can put the mags up max and it won't fluff up if I don't cast too far. just in that little area that's filling up. We really don't want that out very far. I'm back on the Suffolk Stratanium, £19 line. I've got the orange one instead. Normally had the red one, but it was out of stock everywhere. You can see how it's flooding in around here. So right there, we've got that flooding in just there, and that's going to come in and meet up with the flooding that's happening on this side. So if you come around here, you'll see how it's flooding in over there. That's going to come in and draw in, and that's the sandbank which is right in front of us there. I don't actually have my light or anything tonight, so I hope it don't get too dark, but I only plan to fish for 2 hours, so 8, 9, 10, it would get quite dark, but I think there's enough ambient light around for me to survive that session. Normally I would have my headlamp, but as I said, it was a little bit on the rush side. I was kind of umming and ahhing, do I go, do I not go? And then I thought, oh, I'm just going to go. And then of course by the time I done that, I got indoors, looked at the time, and I thought, oh, that's close. Ooh, what happened with that? Ew. That was strange. It literally just come out of clutch. Very strange, never seen that happen before. Well, I haven't used this reel for ages for fishing. There's no doubt about it, I do need some new reels. There's no doubt about it, I need some more reels. I'm going to set up this long one here. You can see the settings basically of this rig up, the setup. "25 inches at the top, 24 inches at the bottom. I need to have at least a couple of rigs set up and ready to go. It's just saves so much time. There's much more chance of a catch if there's bait out there. I know that sounds so obvious, but it's one of those things that might not always be obvious. You kind of think, well, it doesn't make a lot of difference, you know, a couple of minutes here and there, but actually it does. It does when you're fishing to the time frame. And you know that there's going to be an opening, a window, in which fish are likely to feed. So for every second that is out there, there's another second that you've got more chance of catching. Let's give yourself a bit more room there. The particular hooks that I'm using right now are up on the screen. Again, as always, I will always have a Portsmouth rig in my setup when I'm fishing along the way. It's such a versatile rig, it really is. You've got that and a running ledger, or a pulley panel, you are really set really. unless of course you're after something in specific that really does need a certain type of rig. But at least I've got an extra one there ready to go out. That's good enough for me. It's enough. It's actually enough just to have at least one rig hanging there ready with the bait on there. That's all you really need. I like to have two sometimes. It depends, you know, how things are going, but at least to have one would be good. The good thing about this neck strap is his ability to take this off really quick. And there's a couple of settings in there that are really important for this occasion, and that is the screen. I don't need that screen to be on for such a long time. 16 seconds is more than enough. Whenever I mention, by the way, any of these products that I'm using, I'm not actually being sponsored at all by any of these companies. It's just the case that I feel that I like to try things out. If they work, I like to report back to you to say, by the way, this is working really well for me, and this is what the make and brand is. That's it really. And the reason why I probably wouldn't say don't get this is because I generally don't just buy anything without a bit of research. I normally look into it, and it normally is not the most expensive always, but sometimes it would be like one level down from the most expensive. That's normally the most reliable. And if I go for really cheap budget stuff, then I tend to find that the quality is really low. It's a bit dodgy as to if it's going to be consistent with it working, and that's not for me. I do not want to work with inconsistent, dodgy equipment. That's definitely not the way I like to do it. We can see that it is starting to flood in now. You can see where it's flooding over there. And as I said, that little sandbank there, which is raised, a raised bit of sand, that's the sandbank. That would be the last little bit that gets covered in. And I'm quite hopeful that there's going to be something out there. I'm cast all the way out past the end of the structures of the pier, about 40 yards, probably not even that actually, 25-30 yards away from the end structure there. That's to the left of it, and about 20 yards past it. That's kind of where I am, maybe a little bit further past there. But it's certainly a spot where I would expect to catch a bass, that's for sure. The good thing about the mackerel baits is they last a bit longer. They've got really tough skin, and there's lots of oil in the skin, so that can stay out there a little bit longer. I'm not too worried about bringing that in just yet. As I said, I'm not really putting that very far out, and it's got a 6.0 hook on that with a 3.0 on the top of the pennel setup, so if something does go for it, it isn't going to be a small fish, that's for sure. Although I have had smaller schoolie bass go for bigger hooks, but it tends to be the bigger fish. We are starting now to get a nice flood, which is good. It's also got to that time where we don't need that ND filter on anymore. So that's suddenly going to be so much brighter now. I think it's time that we brought the left-hand rod in. We can still cast a long way out near where the edge is there, but it's been out for quite a while now. This is the first cast that this rod's had. Just trying to get the breaker to break away. I'll tell you what, considering the breaker's broken away, That's quite tough. Just felt real hard work, that did. Didn't bring my light with me as well, did I? The light that clips on. But that worked, look, you see? This worked. I'm pleased to say. Right. Off with the old, on with the new. That quick. It really is that quick. Okay. It fluffed up, but it did not snap, but it fluffed up and it would have went a long way. That's what I was saying about the turbo. That would have went a lot further, but that turbo held it back. It just fluffed up. I'm not going to go stingy on the lug. I'm literally going to use what I got. I'm just going to give it the best I got. I'm very much aware of what's going on behind me with the tide. I wonder if I've got a backup lighting somewhere. The lighting's going to be quite dark, I feel. There we go. You can see why at least having one hanging there ready is enough. Because I'll bring the other one in, then I can clip that one in, and then with the one that's hanging and empty I can rebake back up. So yeah, it's not really a problem just going with just the one. So right now it's actually 9:29. The low tide was 8:30. So 8, 9, 10:30 will be enough for me. 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 10:30 coming up for 11. That'll be enough for me. Yeah. I expect to catch something within that time. That 2-hour mark is key. So I'm going to bring in the one with the mackerel on it. Put one out with the lug on it, on the right hand rod. It didn't take a lot to break that lead. Take that one off. Our pulley panel comes off and our other Portsmouth goes on. And yes, it is getting quite dark. Despite what the cameras are showing, it's actually getting quite dark. Right. Let's at least get this one out. Let's give it some. Ooh. Oh, that clutch is gone. Ooh, what's going on? That clutch can't take it any more than that. You know what, by the time it gets to, I don't know, the next 25-30 minutes, I can't see I'm going to be able to see much anyway. It's getting quite dark already, and I've got no lights with me, got no headlamp. Thankfully the camera is actually seeing more than I'm seeing, so at least you're getting something to look at. But when I'm fumbling around in the dark and you're thinking, what's he doing, is because I actually can't see nowhere near as well as what the camera's picking up with the light. It's really flooding in now. I expect to see something. I really do expect to see something very soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie some lugworm we'll get a good few of them. I'll save that one, these skinnier ones I can use, to the mackerel with a bait elastic. There's quite a few lug there. Rather than take the lug off, I mean the mackerel off, I'm just going to work with what I've got. So I'm just going to add to it pre-elasticate it up and then add it onto the back of this rig, not to obscure the hook, but I'm going to piggyback it on there. Just make that scent ever so more stronger. This is where I could do my headlamp. Can't find the end of the bait elastic. There we go. Really get that snug on there. That's it. Put this back on there. Reset it. Could do with a 6.0 really on there, but we're all good. We will be at that shingle bank before you know it. Being it's July the 13th, you would have thought that I'd be catching easily by now. I'll be bringing them in, at least 3-4 fish by now, or whatever that may be. I'm not catching nothing so far. Not quite sure what's going on, but it just feels a bit strange that I'm even standing here saying this. I have caught some nice bass down this spot over the years, to the left side of that pier. It's really warm tonight. I've only got a t-shirt on. The only thing I'm missing now is to get a nice fish on the end of my line. But we will see. Come on, bass, where are you? starting to get dark now. It's starting to get dark enough that I'm going to struggle seeing in the next 30 minutes, I reckon. But I'm going to stick it out for a minute. So it's 9:50 right now. Coming up for 10 o'clock. By 10:30, you know, it pretty much will be the end of my session. 2 hours is enough for me. Now that's what's supposed to have happened. You see, this time it's actually turned off after I stopped recording. Why wasn't it doing that before? Maybe I started it recording by turning it on first on the left hand side. Maybe that's what but it's done it what it should be doing now. It should be shutting down after I finish the recording. Right, that's slack. That is slack. Oh, that is really slack. That's what you call a slack liner. A slack liner is typical what you're going to get off a bass, and that was a slack liner. That line went so slack you wouldn't believe it. So that is a bass. I've got to make sure that I keep that as tight as I can when the bass swims directly for me. And then when it gets close to the edge of the shoreline, it will start to pull a bit and fight a little bit, like now. Alright, I'm on my own line, unfortunately. But I do have the bass that I'm after. I'm not sure where it is in conjunction with my line. I think I might have got away from it, yep. And it's a good sized bass at that. Okay, so we are onto a nice sized bass. There we go. This is what we've been waiting for. There we go, and that was on the bottom hook. Yeah, these. There you go, a nice schoolie bass. It certainly likes to fight, that's for sure. Got a little bit of a spike from it. See if we can get a bit of a close-up. It's a pity I didn't actually have any light. But there we go. I'm not going to keep this one, I'm going to put this one back. So let's get this one back. Not quite big enough to keep. That's it. That's it. Let's get it. There we go. There we go. That's gone. So there we go. There's a nice schoolie bass. That was a typical slack liner. there's a slight bend to the tip of the rod, and then suddenly there's nothing, absolutely nothing. And I know that that was anchored in. And when you continue to wind it in and you still feel nothing, you know the bass is swimming directly towards you. That one was out a distance. They both kind of are. I'm going to rebait up this particular rig. Let's go and get our lug. Let's hope we've got all that on camera, on both cameras. I could see that it was small enough not to keep. I wasn't going to try to weigh it or measure it or anything like that. It was just nice to catch one, to be quite honest with you. I'm not going to fuss too much about keeping it if it's that kind of size. Is only about possibly 2 pounds. If it's around about 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds, that's the kind of size I would keep it. But a blank has been broke. I'm really pleased, and it's with the species that I wanted to catch. And I can just about see in the dark. Your eyes do actually do a very good job in actually adapting, providing you're not looking at really bright lights or anything. That's when the old angler comes up to you, or someone comes up to you with a big bright light and sprays it in your eyes and says, "You caught anything?" And say, "Yes mate, caught a lovely bass, but I'm unlikely to see the next one." Why is that? Because you just blinded me. That's ready to go out. I'm going to put that out at distance again, same location. That's out at a good distance, that. See if we can catch ourselves a bigger one. I'd removed the ball head from this tripod. It was built really, really well. Can't complain about the ball head, but unfortunately it was too heavy. So I've replaced it with a brass adapter that just converts a 3/4 to 1/4 inch thread, and that basically allows me to do what I need to do. Attach the pocket free onto there. Now it's going to have a problem detecting my face now, probably. Yeah, because it is getting dark now. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to keep this quite close to me while it's trying to see in the dark like me. I think what I'm going to have to do with this one is I'm going to have to just tighten up that end float on this reel so it don't go too fast, because it went really fast before. I'm going to chuck it in to my left. I'm kind of tempted to chuck it in the structure of the pier, but I've chucked one there already, so I'm going to chuck it just to the left of me. There we go. So I didn't get very far until that fluffed up, but at least it didn't snap. But the fluff up's big enough for me not to be able to see how to get out of it without a camera or light. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of this one. That's where the knotting is, right here. Just need to pull it loose. Oh, oh, looks like I might have got it out. Oh. Be so lucky if I can get that out while I'm here. I think I have. Right. He's actually getting to the point where it's actually quite dark, almost too dark to fish without a light. I've managed to catch today. I'm not going in with a blank. I've got a bass, the species that I was after today. I'm really happy. I didn't come with my lamp or my headlight. Big mistake there. But it's getting to the point where it's getting quite dark and I've got no headlamp. So I'm going to have to call it quits in a minute. This will be the last cast of these rigs that are going to be out there. And if I catch anything, I will let you know and you'll see it. If not, I will call this to the end of the video. And I really appreciate that you're watching this. Give me the thumbs up if you'd like to, and please leave a comment. But that's over and out for me for tonight anyway. I hope you enjoy this session, and please do check for when I've got some more fishing trips coming up.